Hi. Merry Christmas, my friends. It is myself, Santa Claus, and my little helper, Cousin Cheetor. And today we are talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 4. And let me remind myself of the name of the episode. All is possible. Hey. So I have to say, straight off the bat, I'm kind of liking the format of this season so far. Even though everything kind of is connected and there is a larger plot at hand, what I have noticed is that it's feeling quite episodic at the same time too, which is something I very much appreciate. So, this first of all, before we start talking about this episode, let's have a quick say hello to some of the people in the chat with us right now. First of all, we have Daniel Vance, incoming subspace communication, routing to your station. Yes, it is, sir. Yes, it is. And our usual cohort when it comes to Disco, Mr. Wagoo. Okay, hopefully more people will join us soon enough. This episode had three storylines. The first one, oh, it's hard to tell really which was the main one because there's two plots which were kind of side by side, but I would say Tilly being abandoned on that planet with some cadets and Adira was probably the main plot. The second plot was the political angle on Nivad, with them joining the Federation, and we also had Colbert being the counselor on Discovery as well, looking very psychologist-like in his black attire and his dark room. Very good. So, before we start breaking down this episode, what did you think, Cousin Cheeto?
I really enjoyed this episode. There was one or two little nitpicks, but we'll get into those. And I mean, it's not like it broke the episode for me at all, but I really liked it. I like the fact that we got some. It's gonna sound weird, but interspecies mingling in more than one
Mm-hmm.
way. It was good to kind of see, like, and I'm 99% sure that this guy was a Tellarite, and then obviously the Orion, and they're kind of at odds because the Orion, the Emerald Chain, kind of was a big player in the area for a long time, and it went once the burn happened and everything like that. Um, so it was really interesting to see those two dynamics and see a little bit of focus on what was going on, like while the burn was still going, well, while the dilithium shortage was still going on, and also, well, Saru and the Vulcan president. I mean, God, she's DTF. She got her Ponfar Agra out. So
Oh, yes, she did. Yeah, Vulcan women are kind of hot anyway. So, yeah, she's military hot, that's for sure. So, um, I like this. Your, okay, let's have a quick look here. You're preempting Saru and the Vulcan present lady's carnal relationship with that mingling statement, Cheetor.
wait, what? Hold on. Uh, you're preempting Saru and the Vulcan president lady. What? Whatever. I'm not. It's happening. She's ponfaring. She's ponfaring all over Saru.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
thought
like,
I thought
we
Mabel.
don't
Wait,
have to, it's like, we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. So that's what they were doing. Okay, so he's just waiting for the swamp current to bloom. Then he's so gonna touch it. Oh yeah, yeah, yes. Oh yes. Oh, thank you
all
very
the
much,
jokes
Margot.
this episode. I mean,
Now look, I'm very happy. Like, and I think every Star Trek show needs an abandoned on a isolated planet episode. Would you agree? All of them have one.
yeah.
The original series had one, TNG had one, DS9 had one, Voyager had one. You
Voyager had
know,
several. I mean, all
yeah,
Star Trek has
and
several. I mean,
yes. So hopefully they don't do it like they did in Demolition, right? Oh, that was a whole different premises, But nevertheless, we got our discovery abandoned on a remote planet, not a desert planet, but a snow planet.
It
And
wasn't
that's it. They
Discovery.
highlighted.
It was the shuttlecraft.
Oh yes, I meant this. When I say discovery, I meant the show. So we had our
Oh, gotcha.
discovery
Okay,
show,
my bad.
and it was Tilly being in charge of some cadets with Adira. There was a pilot as well who could have been her right hand man, but unfortunately for him, when they crashed on this planet, uh, he died.
He drew
So,
the red shirt straw.
yes, he did. Even I feel sorry for him because those cadets had red shirts themselves. Uh, hold on to something. Brace computer. In a sheep, yeah, they don't do seatbelts in Star Trek for some reason. Very unusual. But nevertheless, they crashed on this planet. I got a bit confused. I've seen this episode twice, and I think once they came out of warp, they hit something or had some sort of anomaly or something that fucked up their ship, and they weren't able to steer it, and they ended up crashing on this snow planet. Now, on this snow planet, it was a bit like Pitch Black. Have you seen Pitch Black
No,
with
but
Vin Diesel?
no, but it did remind me of the planet with that Kirk was on in 2009's Star Trek. That was the first thing I thought of because it's probably near Vulcan, and it's an ice planet. It looks very similar, and those creatures that came out of the ice look
I was thinking that too from the
somewhat
Kelvin
similar to
Universe
that beast.
movie. The Kelvin Universe movie.
Yes. So it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the same universe technically, but still, it could be the same planet.
Yes, I was thinking that too. So it had some resemblances to that. But it's funny because they're on this planet. They realize that their sensors and their equipment attracts these creatures, and so they have to go silent. Understandable. But then apparently there's thousands of them. But when we finally got to a good look at these creatures, there's only two of them. What the hell was up with that? Did you notice that?
I thought they split apart. Like what isn't that what like I thought I saw them split apart when they were down in that
Yeah,
valley.
it's hard to tell. It's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
don't
tell
know if
what's
it like
going
if
on.
the one just came out of the ground next to it or if it like they split apart. I thought it was more like an or not osmosis, but a cell division or something like that. I was like, what the heck? It gave me the movie Evolution. It gave me the flashbacks to that movie.
Uh, with David Duchovny.
Yes, I love that movie.
Okay. Yes, yes, it's a good movie. It kind of, those creatures, they kind of look like a hand, like a
Yeah.
big hand. I think the gamma ray burst that caused the crash was probably from the anomaly, as black holes do that while absorbing matter. Rather lucky they landed so perfectly, apart from the driver. Of course, somebody has to go. Uh, One of the writers said TOS episode Galileo 7 was inspiring. Yes, I'm sure, episodes like this, will never disappear from Star Trek. The show after Discovery will do an episode like this, guaranteed. It's inevitable. But in this case, we got to see Tilly trying to be a leader. She's having to encourage these young cadets. One of them is a girl from Titan. She's a
Hmm.
human being, and she's never met aliens before until today. So I was thinking to myself, did she volunteer for Starfleet as an individual, or is Titan part of the Federation?
Well, I mean, we know from last season that Titan, is basically it wasn't Titan the planet that like
It's
the
the moon of Saturn.
yeah, no, but wasn't Titan the planet that Earth Defense Force was having such a problem with? Last season in the episode where they went to Earth.
Earth and Titan were fighting each other for resources.
Yeah, because they were all fighting for resources and such, and they thought that they were aliens, but they were actually people from Titan.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean,
Uh,
it's interesting because I mean, you almost have to consider Titan its own thing now, like it's its own
I
colony.
think so. Yes, I
So it's
agree.
kind
They said it.
Go ahead.
They say like one organism, like those forests that are really all one organism underground. So there's two antagonistic heads. Okay, well those the aliens, they can take a blasting. They were firing fucking phases at them, multiple phases at them, and they weren't slowing down, in my opinion. Now I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, and I would go back a bit, but making Tilly debate was the most stupidest thing ever. You need the most athletic, nimble person of the group to be debate. You know, Tilly
Yeah,
is
but
not that.
she was the commanding officer. I mean,
Yeah, which is
I
also why you don't have her as bait.
I,
Because who's going to lead the group? Adira, obviously, but still, you know.
I mean,
But
I get your point. I just don't agree. Like, I understand your point. I just don't. She is a commanding officer, so no matter how unathletic or whatever she is, yeah, I feel like it needs to be. She
well,
needs to because she's the commanding officer. She needs to make the sacrifice play.
now maybe the chat can help elucidate here. But what was the name of the species with the horns coming out of the cheeks?
I'm 99% sure that
Bobby
was.
thinks it's a terror, right? But I don't think so.
I think it's a teller, right? I mean, it seems. I mean, I know they don't have the beards, but I mean, it seems pretty indicative of a teller, right?
Yes, and these Orions, they got this sort of look about them now, the male Orions. I can't really explain, but there's almost like a puffiness, but it's very slender puffiness. They almost look like the Hulk. That's the only way I can describe it. Um, I expect to see those
Might be
cadets
the
as well as Tilly
green.
come the Starfleet Academy series. Ah,
I hope there's a
okay.
star. I've always wanted a Starfleet Academy series. We've talked
Well,
about that many times here.
I guess they just have to make it interesting. Yes, it was. Yes, it was because of the people on Titan had broken comm systems, and somehow were too stupid to get a message to Earth. All the ships have comms. They don't even need subspace comm for Earth. Tilly is the ship's marathon champion. Remember? She is.
She is.
Ah,
That was last season.
and I'm Father Christmas. Okay. I didn't know either. I actually asked the co-writer of this episode what species that thing was to confirm. Seems it was the first full writing credit, just writer's assistants before. Oh, you actually asked me. Oh, I hope he's not making fun of us, but that's pretty cool. Okay, let's continue. So prior to all of that happening, Tilly had to round up these troops and make them all get along because there was a little bit of infighting. A lot of these people don't really understand what it means to be part of Starfleet because it's kind of having an overhaul. This is like a new Starfleet. This is the Phoenix rising from the flames, and these cadets are the first people to come out of Starfleet, the new ones. So when it comes to decorum and understanding and behavior and stuff, it's a little bit new to them. So I can understand some of the hostility. And Adira as well, she was there. Hey, it's my friend, Ginger Freak. Hello, my friend. Yes, yes. It's not Santa, it's Santa. Dantaco. Merry Christmas. Hi, 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 hi. Okay, so
I can't.
as I was saying, yes, you can, my son. Yes, you can. You know. Anyway, as I was saying, this version of Starfleet, this new people, kapati, kapati, kapati. Oh yes, my friend. Yes, yes. I use my big ingrown toenail to touch people. Let's just stand around the middle of the sky, the lightning storm, while being hunted. Yes, and talk. Yes, I do remember. But so I'm sorry, I keep repeating myself here. But it was just good to see, this new group of people having to understand the ethos of what it means to be Starfleet. I like the way that some of the aggressions between a couple of the members was nipped in the bud once this terrorite-looking creature found out that this Orion guy was not like the others from Osada's crew during the Emerald,
Yeah, the Emerald Chain.
the Emerald Chain. Yeah, so I'm glad we're getting some callbacks to the last season as well, just to make us understand what's going on. Oh my God, yes, my friend David Cronenberg said something like all cadets have terrible social skills and are shut-ins, and seeing aliens is new. But surely these are communities of aliens and M-class world by now. Okay. Yeah, they are, but the burn had an effect, remember? The burn did have an effect, so all these aliens, all these people having to get back together again and, learn to mingle is a bit difficult, especially during a period when there was more piracy, because people had to like rub each other like the Wild Wild West in space. It was Mad Max in space last season.
Yeah, I mean,
Plus,
it
they
was
were,
yeah, that was,
yeah,
but there were a lot of great carryovers from last season that I'm glad that they did because, I mean, like I I I I understand like you want a little bit more episodic, but we still want major themes to carry over. Like aftermath of the burn. They even said like a lot of these races, and I think was it Wagyu who said that? He basically said that yeah, that all cadets have terrible social skills and are all shut-ins just because they haven't seen other aliens, and a lot of it in a lot of cases that's true. So it made a lot of sense. I thought I know that they were trying to go for a lower decks episode here. Um, not like lower decks as in like the TV show, as in like the TNG and the Voyager episode where you have the lower decks people, the lower ranked people.
yeah,
Um,
not the comedy side, but just like the ranking side.
yeah. Um, but I know that's kind of what they were going for in this episode, and that was kind of my only my and I know they were supposed to do like just a standard survey mission, and then they got knocked out of warp, and then they hit the planet. Okay, I at the same time it was kind of just like, all right, well, we're kind of doing this thing, and I don't think these guys were cadet graduates. I think that they were still in the academy because they said they had only been in the academy for 5 months or something like that. So they're definitely not graduates. I think that they're I think that they're just like
They're the first.
yeah, but I don't think they're graduates. I think they said
No,
that they were in the
yeah.
academy for only 5 months. Starfleet takes 3 years. I mean, at least in normal time.
Hmm.
So unless they like,
Well,
matrix them with stuff in the back of their head.
I'm very glad Wagyu brought this up because regarding the holodeck with the Orion lad, 40 was in one, and I'm glad that was mentioned early on to nip the idea that this was some sort of holodeck simulation, if you know what I mean, because sometimes it could just be put in a scenario to see, like a Kobayashi Maru sort of situation for cadets. And I'm glad that wasn't the case. That would have been awful if that was the case. And I'm glad early on in the episode they nipped that in the bud. So yes. Um yeah, we see them working together. They put their differences aside. They help Adira. She's getting her legs frozen somehow. Did you make sense of that?
I think it was like ice quicksand, like reverse quicksand. Like it's instead of it sucking you in, like it just it was it's a life form that like kind of covers you and tries to like cover you up or swallow you up or whatever. Kind of like a spider, like when it wraps when it wraps a cocoon around you. It's kind of doing that, but it looked like whatever was the life form, it was under the ice because you could see like remember the shadow kind of came up over the ice
Mm-hmm.
and then like whatever it was started from there. So it's probably just some non-sentient life form Venus flytrap type thing that was trying to capture and eat Adira.
No, yes, I did like that, and I like the way they had to work as a team to pull her out. But eventually, we get to the scene where they're underage. They need to, if they make contact with the what's the name of the ship?
Oh, the I thought it
The
started with an A.
Roscoe. I can't
The
remember.
Oh, I saw it too just recently because I was kind of refreshing my brain when I was uh oh
I,
Kaka. I'll
I
get it
didn't
here. Anyway,
understand the
keep going.
magic
I'll
eyes.
get it here.
I didn't understand the magic as it seemed caused by spider lightning rather than being the creature. It seemed like a tribute to Terminator 2 and the T-1000 liquid nitrogen. Yes, I remember. Much better with the director's cut, by the way. But yes, I remember.
Armstrong, USS Armstrong,
Yes, yes.
the USS Scott Armstrong. That's for the wrestling fans out there.
I really thought the lightning caused some rare glass to, to begin forming at the strike location. You guys are really fixated on lightning. I saw it once and then they never really played a. It never really had an impact after that, in my opinion. But at least it wasn't parasitic ice this time. Yes, yes, I agree. But nevertheless, they get on the race. They know if they use their equipment, the creatures will find them. So they make Tilly bait, or Tilly it makes herself bait, and she's some big bait. At least as if they did catch her, both monsters could feed on her for a week, no problem. But eventually, the Armstrong gets hold of them. They teleport out of there, and they're saved. And these cadets have had one of the best lessons they could ever have as future Starfleet officers, in my opinion. The strike effect was odd too. I rewatched it. It seems to cross some ground rather than from the sky. Like I said, like it happened once and then it never really happened again, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But just to finish with Tilly's story, she ends up speaking to Burnham, who we're going to be going through in a second. Yes, Tilly was bait 2 episodes in a row. But
Yeah, she was. That now that you
yeah,
mention it, she was. Poor Tilly.
but still, um, she decides that being promoted wasn't for her, and she wants to teach. This made me immediately think that the actress is pregnant. Is that the case?
I honestly don't know. I tried looking it up earlier after this episode was over, and I didn't find anything that indicated that she was leaving the show or was pregnant. They just basically said that this is where her character is, and I'm like, okay, like, but what's going on with her now? Because uh,
Well, we all thought Saru was going to be going his bye-byes, but he did come back, and he's still a major part of the show. And who knows, maybe, like, I don't know who said it, Wagyu or Daniel, but maybe this will lead to future series for Starfleet Academy. But do you want a Starfleet Academy set in this period, or do you want it set maybe in the past?
I kind of wanted to start here. I mean, I would love both. Like I would love a Starfleet Academy series set in both this timeline and also in like TNG timeline.
Uh-huh.
Um, just because I would love to see both. I love the idea of this being like if they do a Starfleet Academy show, if they're doing it from like the ground up. You know what I mean? Like they're building Starfleet Academy from the ground up. So I would really like to see that, but also I don't know. I mean, I kind of would like to see like Starfleet Academy in its prime, back in the TN like post Nemesis era, TNG era. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily want it during the Picard timeline because when Picard went to Starfleet headquarters, it just seemed a little wonky to me, and I wasn't feeling that setting. But like if they had something set in like the post Dominion War, like right around Lower Decks timeline, like a couple years after Nemesis or a couple years after Voyager gets home or whatever, I would be okay with that. But I want it to be what it is. Like I want to follow students through Starfleet Academy and and have them do. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have like all the shenanigans and stuff like that, but I want it to be very focused on like the Starfleet Academy material and stuff like that. Like I know it sounds lame and stupid and probably would not actually work because a lot of people would not watch it and get bored, but I would be very interested in seeing that. There was a game that I played back in the 90s called Starfleet Academy, or Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And it was basically a motion picture slash choice game. And I think there was simulator. I think there's also a simulator involved in it too. And but you got to go through this like whole story with all of these cadets. And there was actually a cadet in it that was like failing and like was really struggling, and you had to like help him get his grades up and stuff like that. And that, like after every like simulation mission or whatever, you had to like you could check your grades and all that. It was a really fun game. I mean, it had William. They actually did original filming for it. Like William Shatner did original filming for this game. Like
Okay.
it's ghetto as shit, but like it's definitely low budget. But I think also Sulu's in it. But it's actual like footage because that's back when when you had like actors doing video game clips and stuff like that rather than CGI and all that. So
Okay, well,
um
Bugsy said first you mentioned missing a mom. I thought you were going to go back 900 years and join the strange new world gods with Pike. No, I didn't think that. But then maybe rejoin Disco having magically aged 10 years and being mature. Yeah, well, the way Star Trek sometimes treats time travel, it's like a fucking door. You know, I thought that at first too, Wagyu. Was that the VCR game? I
no,
remember
it's
playing
not. No,
that.
no, no. It's hold on. I'm gonna look it up.
I just imagine Starfleet Academy show like the first duty TNG episode with Nova Squad or DS9, where we ship a cadets turning into Starfleet Academy 2090210 not played the game though. You know, that's the thing, like, if it's all set in Starfleet Academy, the writing has to be fucking good to keep me engaged.
And that's what I'm
Because if
saying.
it
Like
becomes if it becomes a teen drama with bad writing, then I'm going to lose interest very quickly. The VCR game I had was with God. Yeah, I had that game too. I had that game too. It was really good. He had taken over the Enterprise.
oh, and I
Um,
forgot you could actually. I think you can play as Klingons too.
this is a VCR game. The one what Gu's talking about isn't that case. It was really good. I never played a game like it. It was like one of the first interactive games I've ever played. It was amazing. You know. Anyway, this we're talking like wow, right? 25 years ago.
Yeah, it
Bloody
is
hell.
1997 is when it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to risk copyright? Do you want me to put this on?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Let's just stick to this. Let's stick to this.
Well, then
So
I'll
Tilly's
just
not.
bring up the image then, and just so the box art. So if
Okay.
people want to look it up, they can.
Anyway, yeah, the FPS thing. Yeah, I remember Wagyu. They also had that one with Q as well. Remember?
Yeah, that's the Voyager one, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but
I'm
you
pretty sure it
get to
was.
be with the Borg and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. Um. Okay. So where were we? So yeah, the Tilly story arc is done. She fucks off. I remember when she said goodbye to everyone. It resembled when Michael Burnham said hello to everyone at the end of episode 2 of season 3. Do you remember?
Hmm.
And she was hugging everyone. Tilly's goodbye was very similar.
So anyway, that's the game right there. Um,
Uh huh.
but as
Very
I said,
nice.
William Shatner and George Takei and I think even James Doohan was in there too. Like, and they were speakers at the Academy and stuff like that. So, it's actually one of those rare parts where you see Sulu and Kirk alone together. Um, but yeah,
I think I remember little clips.
I saw when I did it when I had it online or when I looked it up that like you can watch the Starfleet Academy movie, like when they basically take all the clips and stuff like that, and you can watch that, and it's 2 hours long. So I mean, it's not necessarily a long game. So anyway, moving on. Sorry.
Okay, so now we're on to the diplomacy angle. Okay, I'm not sure how you feel about Star Trek politics, Bobby. You like it?
I do in this context. I like the politics when it's like trying to get someone to join the Federation. I always enjoyed the talks on Deep Space Nine when they talked about Bajor joining the Federation and some of the complications there because it's got to be a very complicated thing to watch. To navigate that because with the Federation, it's like every single every the Brexit plot. That's what they had. They had the Brexit clause, is what they had. They wanted Vulcan wanted the
Mm-hmm.
Brexit clause in there.
They wanted their cake and eat it. I'll tell you what, yeah. Like I said before, ever since Enterprise, the Vulcans have come across as stubborn, ignorant assholes who thinks the world shines out their asshole. But and this episode kind of extended that. Of course, Michael has to be the better at the politics at the Federation press on the bar. Okay.
And this is one of my nitpicks. Is like, and you know what I'm gonna say. Michael Burnham's the answer to everything. Now I know why, because of Michael Burnham's past, I understand why she's the obvious choice for a liaison between the Federation and Navarre, because of her Vulcan hair, like because of her growing up on Vulcan and yada yada. I understand that. I get it.
Vulcan
Okay.
parents, Spock being the brother who brought the Romulans together and all of that. You know,
So I understand why it's obvious she should be, but still, it's just like I agree with Wagyu. Michael is the answer to everything.
now look, I knew when I saw Michael being the bridge, so to speak. I knew that you would fucking have a problem with this. And I'm not surprised either. But nevertheless, the Vulcans want to get off. The Navarians, they want to get out clause. Yeah, I didn't even see a single fucking Romulan in that group. It was all Vulcans.
Well, Vulcans look like Romulans.
No, no, the ears are different. They made
What?
sure that you could tell
Well,
that
and
there
they
was a
have difference
difference.
in the foreheads, but I still think that there was a Vulcan or a Romulan in there.
I was really trying to look out for them when on my second look, but
Either that or they
nevertheless,
just didn't bother with the prosthetics.
yeah, well, nevertheless, the Navarians, they want their cake and they want to eat it, and they tell the Starfleet, look, we'll join you guys, but if we want to leave, whenever we want to leave, we can leave. The president of Starfleet or the Federation or whoever the fuck he is says no dice. This ain't happening, and they come to a sort of stalemate when it comes to negotiations. But luckily, Michael Burnham is in town, so when they first said Vance had a worm, I wanted it to be one of the parasites from the TNG conspiracy. I think that was a bluff to get Michael Burnham on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never see the Romulans. I think in one meeting they made a point of having a Romulan Navarre guy last season. Yeah, they did. They had three people last season. They had a Romulan, they had a Vulcan, and then they had a mixed race Romulan Vulcan.
Yeah, I was about to say I remember there being like one of each or whatever that committee in last season.
They really need to add more ships with names that are non-human. USS Sharan, USS Neri, USS Sarek. The Federation is beginning to feel a bit human-centric with its naming of ships. I agree.
USS Nog.
Yes.
He's Ferengi.
Yeah, but that's the exception to the rule. Maybe they need more.
Yeah, I mean that would be fine. I'm just like that's one that pops in my head automatically.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I would like the USS Worf,
Yeah, where's our USS Worf and USS LaForge?
USS Spock.
Eh, doesn't roll off the tongue.
Okay, well, anyway.
USS
um,
Riker.
so, so we get this moment where Saru, oh look, we have our usual fucking look at this shit, huh? God damn bloody! I get rid of you. Maybe
I
Romans joined the Secret Service. We've not seen Klingons for 2 seasons. I totally agree. And you know what? Fuck them. Fuck them for now. What they done 2 seasons ago, they're probably trying to distance themselves as much as possible, so people don't remember what happened 2 seasons ago.
but I do want them, maybe not
Yes,
this
I
season.
do.
I do want them to get back to at least seeing the Klingons again. Like them coming across a Klingon cruiser that's in distress. I w- But remember what I said at the end of last season? I said next this season I want to see what's going on with all of these races 900 years later, or well 800 years later from next gen. I want to see what's going on with the Ferengi. I want to see what's going on with the Klingons. I mean we now know what's going on with the Romulans and the Vulcans. I want to see all this stuff. I want to see I mean, we know what's going on with the Andorians and the the Andorians and the Orions, um you know
Yes.
yeah I
Well,
I want to
maybe
see.
because of the burn, we didn't see them. They were anyway. But nevertheless, hopefully we'll see them again.
Wouldn't it be
But this
crazy if
game,
like they went and like the entire Klingon Empire destroyed itself? Like the entire Klingon Empire is just a wasteland because after the burn they just basically imploded in on themselves and killed, like they become just like nomads at this point.
it's a
Be
possibility.
That'd be nuts. And then the for I did say last season I want to see the Ferengi become like a warrior race. Like they kind of give up like Latinum and greed and everything, and they just become like the Ferengi from season one. Of Now I know that's probably not the case because we saw Ferengi in the open in the beginning of the season, but it would just be funny to see like this warrior race of Ferengi and like make them more like the Klingons than the Klingons.
I just want to say, Ragu, like I know what you're getting regarding Kurtzman, but I do think there's some course corrections, and he's learning from his mistakes. So as you can see, the last two seasons of Discovery, this season and the previous seasons, have definitely been going in the right direction. And even though Michael Burnham was the answer to everything, she really wasn't the most central figure of this episode. It was Tilly. But now with Tilly gone, hopefully some of the other crew members, not including Stamets, because I do think he's had his moment in the sun as well, but some of the bridge crew members can get their moment in the sun too. But regardless of that, let's just cut straight to the point here. Regarding the diplomacy here, it just comes down to Michael Burnham. Being a Navarian, being a Starfleet officer, she's the best of both worlds, pun intended. And then, so because by magic, they're able to come to a compromise because of this. I actually thought that her being human, the arrogance of the Vulcans and the Navarians just generally would would not be too much, but no, no, they didn't care. And Saru and Vulcan lady, they're getting it on. And I'll be honest with you, last season people were talking about them too. I didn't see it. Obviously, this season we're seeing it. She asked blatantly this guy to join her for tea. She asked him to join her for tea.
Listen, you don't get in the way of the Ponfar Agra, baby. Once she takes that little yellow pill of Ponfar Agra, it's on like Revlon.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. But anyway, the use of the Stargate to film really upped the cinematography, lighting, reflections, color, brightness, shadows, effects. It looks very movie quality. Yeah, yeah, it does. I was hoping to see more of those upside down buildings as well on Navarre, but we never really got to see them. But okay. Uh, don't forget the Polo Neck Doctor who's now gonna have counseling sessions and sensitive contact with the whole crew. If only to find out his family does taxidermy on dead yes. I want to get onto that right now actually. I didn't forget by the way. I just left the worst to last. I don't get me wrong, I do like Colbert. He's my favorite character on Discovery. But I think they're giving him a bit too much now, in my opinion. Maybe the counselor role could have gone to somebody else, you know, in the crew, maybe Owo. I don't know. But nevertheless, he is, in my opinion, Culper, the, the best of all the doctors in Star Trek. He has the best bedside manner. And so, because he's such a lovely person, it makes sense that they also want him to be counselor too. And his, his story of cutting off the thumbs of his relative and then reattaching them again because he could was kind of sadistic, but I did like it. But he was there, he helped out Tilly, and then he was mainly helping out Book. And I liked it for a reason because people thought Book's trauma ended last week, with his connection with that Vulcan lady. But trauma doesn't just end overnight. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Trauma doesn't end. Oh, she's giving me fucking trauma right now, I tell you. But trauma doesn't end overnight. You can be suppressed, but it does resurface its head again. And so his sessions with Caldwell definitely helped. And Caldwell helping him using this magic marker pen to create some sort of shit on this shit. I don't know what this shit is, but he made him create it. Somehow helped broken his journey to recovery. And Caldwell showing some additional skills. I'm very impressed. Did you like any of that?
Sorry, I was reading the comment. Are you just talking about the angle? Are you just talking about the like the angle with book and everything like that and the trauma?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the fact that they didn't just skirt it under the rug now. Like he's obviously a little bit better now, but like Colbert was even saying during this, like he's like the everything you do now is like he's like book is like it's not the same, and Colbert's like nothing you do is going to be the same anymore. Absolutely nothing. So, that I like how they were kind of, he still has to manage this grief because he still has it. Last week's mind meld was not it gave him some closure, but it didn't give him like, it's not, it's always going to live with him. Like this loss and grief is always going to live with him. So I did like the fact that he's in a better place this week than he was last week, but it's still not just like, oh, I'm back to normal. I'm happy book that loves his cat.
I just have to say here, Wagyu, like, I am in disagreement. I follow Wilson Cruz on Twitter as well, and you have to understand that when you're a gay person, bisexual person, trans person, you're constantly fighting an uphill battle because there's always people who don't want equality. They want you, even if you exist, they just want you to shut up. And like it's a lot more difficult for certain demographics to be accepted in this world because some people they just don't want to accept them, because they're different. And a lot of the time it's to do with people's religious beliefs, is why, or just people maybe having homosexual tendencies themselves and suppressing them because they just don't want to admit that they may be gay or bisexual themselves. And sometimes the worst people in you're, you're fighting against is people who are very much like you but still in the closet. A bit like the Hungarian dickhead who's very anti-gay but end up getting caught in a homosexual orgy in Belgium. Okay, at least the counseling sessions will give some screen time to more minor characters. Just to just show up plots, hopefully. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Hopefully, we get to see a little bit more from these people. They're going to be given the Tony Soprano treatment. When Tony Soprano talks to the shrink, they're going to kind of do that angle a little bit on this particular show, in my opinion. So, yeah, I can understand that, but growing up always thinking all Homo sapiens are equal, it's weird to have someone say stuff like white straight guys need to shut the fuck up and listen. Your time, you know what? I know where he's coming from. This is the thing, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people who like the status quo because the term woke comes from people who see different demographics on their screen, different types of people who look like me, people who look like Wilson Cruz, gay people and stuff like that. Before, there were only tokens. Look at Discovery right now. Some people are complaining regarding Discovery that the only white man is a gay man, and that is Stamets. And people don't like that. There's a lot of white men who don't like that. Why the fuck not? There's never anybody who looks like me on these shows. Ever. I still
Well, I
live
mean,
with
no
it.
one else can replicate that beard.
Yes, I know what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I know what I mean. And you
let's.
got to see and you just got to see the woods through the trees a little bit there, Wago. Don't take it personally because because if he had an issue with white people, then he wouldn't be working with so many of them, probably behind the scenes, in Star Trek, as well as a lot of them under the makeup, and as well as obviously the active play Stamets, who's his boyfriend too. So yeah, Okay, so okay, enough
Um,
of that.
one thing I also wanted to bring up is that, last week I was saying, like, I felt like we were getting too many characters with what's his, what is the guy's name? The they got the synthetic body. um,
Yeah, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I see the comment from idiot, but no, I know you don't. I know you don't. But you just have to see it from the other perspective too. You know, like there's a time when white people would play Chinese people, like Christopher Lee played Fu Manchu, John Wayne played bloody Genghis Khan. You know, bloody Peter Sellers played an Indian guy in the party, and he was really fucking good in that role.
and Matt Damon
You
played
know,
a Chinese guy. I mean, come on. I mean,
yeah, exactly. You know, you
I
had what's her name God, Gwen, the girl who played Gwen, Emma Stone. She played a half Japanese girl. You know,
Scarlett
in a movie.
Johansson played what's her face
Yes, yeah.
from Ghost in a Shell.
Yeah, and then you had that movie Kings of Egypt where everyone was white. You know, so like it's just trying to say, look, you know, times are changing now, and a lot of people don't like these demographic changes. You know, but the changes are happening. It's inevitable.
Oh, Gray. Yeah, I'm stupid. I just couldn't remember his name. Um, but yeah,
He looks
so with
he
with
looked like fucking an extra from bloody Mad Max 2 Road Warrior.
I don't know.
That's what I thought. As soon as I saw that get up, I thought, are you gonna be doing some rock and roll or what?
So
Okay.
going back to what I was originally saying though is, with Gray getting a body now, I was saying, oh gosh, we're gonna, we're getting more and more characters, and not, but now they're like sidelining Tilly for a little bit. So not that I wanted Tilly to go, but I'm kind of happy they're doing this because now it gives a chance for some of these other sub characters to kind of get their moment in the spotlight. Not that I want Tilly to be gone forever, but maybe her taking a couple episode hiatus for some reason is possibly a good thing. Um, as I said, it kind of sucks that it's Tilly, but at the same time, Tilly's probably the most side. I don't even want to consider her a side character, but she's one of the lower main characters that's gotten a lot of screen time in the past couple years. So I wouldn't mind if one of the other like bridge crew stepped up and kind of got more shine in her spot. So
I just want to respond to Wago. Fisher Stevens did a superb job. I honestly thought, when I saw that movie Hackers and I found out that Fisher Stevens was actually white, I was shocked because I genuinely thought he was Indian. And then he was also in he had a small role in the Super Mario Brothers. I haven't seen him since. Um, I liked how when we first see Gray, he's touching each finger to his thumb, one after the other, like he's calibrating himself. I never noticed that.
yeah,
I never.
doing the because he was talking about how linking his mind and soul, or mind and body, or something. I don't remember, but yeah, he
But
was
the,
doing.
but the Gray character, like he's he hasn't got the symbiote inside him, but he seems very much like he does. If you know what I mean, he's still got the personality.
Well, and as I said last week, I had no idea how that was working because I thought that maybe the synthetic body had the symbiote in it, and or Gray had it. It had the symbiote, and Tall didn't anymore. Like I was. I mean, maybe the Trill figured out how to take out a symbiote without killing the host. Now, like
Because she calls us Dal is the name of the symbiote, and Adira calls herself Dal still. She like he uses
what's her
Dal as a surname.
Adira, right?
Adira Dal, yeah.
Yeah, Adira Doll. Yeah,
So
I still wouldn't mind
yeah, the
naming a
plague and hackers.
Dax if Dax is still around.
Oh, hold on, let me find her for you. Here she is. Say hello. Hello, say hello to my friend. Okay, okay, come back here. Okay. Okay, Jadzia had all the symbiote personalities taken out and put into her friends to meet them all. Yeah, I mean, I did like the fact that when you kind of got to know what Jadzia was about when the symbiote was taken out of her, but that gave you a better indication of who she was or is. And
Before.
without the symbiote, she felt very vulnerable. Um, Adira has the symbiote. Great doesn't, but maybe great consciousness is a consciousness that was an amalgamation of all the prior hosts. Still, yeah, I agree.
Okay, so follow me here. Okay, so this is
Okay.
how I equate this. So in Dragon Ball Z, when Gohan hits Cell so hard and knocks Android 18 out of him, he then reverts back to his second form. Then he dies, he blows himself up, but then when he comes back, he's in perfect form Cell again. That's how I equate this because his body remembered the perfect Cell. Maybe Gray just absorbed all that information and it just was a part of him.
You totally lost me, but but
Tell
nevertheless,
me some of you guys are Dragon Ball fans.
I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I got some Dragon Ball T-shirt, but
Okay. Yeah, you called Vegeta, or what did you called Goku, you called Vegito Goku. Yeah. Okay.
look, it's an easy mistake to make. You
Yeah,
know,
it is a pretty easy mistake to make. I'm just saying.
yeah. So and I like to call Vegeta Vagina. So
Yes, you do.
And Goku Gopu.
Again, yes,
Yeah,
you do.
yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so this for me was just a very average episode. I liked it, but I didn't. Like we got nothing regarding the anomaly, which I didn't mind to tell you the truth,
I mean,
because
they
I think
talked a little bit about it, but I'm also glad they didn't.
very yeah.
Yeah.
This was nothing really. I mean, I mentioned it here and there, but honestly, this was a almost like a bottled episode with regarding Tilly and the politics regarding Burnham. Maybe the cell blew himself up before the last cells of his body lost the influence of the Android 17 and revived from those cells.
Yes, Wagyu. Yes. He
Oh,
got
by the way,
he smelled what I was cooking.
before I forget, I'm kind of disappointed with the David Cronenberg character because I expected him to be this cigarette smoking man like he had in the X Files, and now he just seems to be somebody who works in Starfleet, and the mystery about this man is kind of gone, you know. But
Yeah,
David
I agree.
Cronenberg, legend. I love the guy. I love him. Loved
Yeah,
him
I
in
agree. I
Nightbreed
was
too.
very let down when he showed up at the beginning and then gave them their assignment and then showed up at the end and said, "Good job." And that's it. Like, I mean, it was like, what? Like, that's all. You're not gonna have some like, actually, I wanted you to go to that planet because there was on that planet, and when you crash landed, I activated a beacon that actually downloaded all the information off this probe that I wanted to get to. Like something crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. This they got, like I said, they got the balance right now. They're making it kind of episodic. At the same time, there's this overall narrative, a massive narrative that will go into play. And I'm sure next week, I guarantee it'll be an anomaly episode. I
I hope
put
not.
both my borders on it.
You bet both of your
Okay, so
Christmas balls on it.
oh yes, my chandeliers. I gave it 3 out of 10 at the cadet from Titan. Was cute. Yeah, she was lovely. I actually thought she was or oh god, what's the name of Troy's race?
Whose? Oh, Beta Z.
Troy. I thought she was a Betazoid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, at least it wasn't all universe-ending drama this episode. No, yeah, I know. This is good. This is good. Like I said, they get the balance right now. So you have to give Kirksman a little bit of props. He's
Oh
listened.
no! Don't do that. Now you
No,
just
no, no. I think this is where people like having like the guy was put in this situation, and you know what? He's listened. He has listened.
I
That's
I
why
am
we're gonna.
I
Yeah,
agree with you. I don't think Kurtzman as bad as people make him out to be. I'm just saying like
yeah.
you say those words like give Kurtzman some slack or give him some credit and like man the fandom just goes absolutely batshit bonkers.
Exactly. So like like it looks like with Picard season 2, they're doing some callbacks with Q, so that's probably going in the right direction. Obviously, Strange New Worlds is also going in the right direction. Lower Decks is some of the best Star Trek in recent years. You know, Prodigy seems to be a clever idea for getting the kids involved, and Discovery now has finally found its feet. As they show, um, a show like they should do as the flagship show of Star Trek at the moment. So yeah, I looked her up on IMDb. She's been in a show that was a show named The Next Generation. Ah, well, fair enough. I hope she comes back. I hope all three of those cadets they come back at some point. You know, I don't think he listened. We have pew 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 phases when they should have used constant beams on a tremor ice piece thing. Yeah, well,
Aesthetics. Come on. The only reason why the only reason why they used straight phasers back then is just because it was easier to animate. Like that's it. I mean, we have to agree that technology has come far enough since the 80s and the 90s that the constant phaser stream is not, it just doesn't have to be now. I mean, I guess if they wanted it to be a straight phase, maybe if it was like they were trying to cut like a cutter, maybe. But I mean, phaser pistols, just, it doesn't have to be this straight consistent beam. So I don't know. And I mean, they still have the beams in lower decks, so you can be happy there.
Lord Dex apparently the showrunner if you check that, and it shows that you can't do comedy like that without being a Trek nerd. You
Yeah,
know,
it's very self-referential but respectful in the same vein.
hmm for sure. So okay, so this is the episode. And by the way, they said there are too many characters. Well, now Tilly's gone.
Well, and
And I
that's
think
what
this
I
is
was.
a balancing act as well, because
Yeah.
Gray's gonna probably have a bigger part.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm kind of glad they um yeah, you're right. Klingon disruptors did pew pew stuff. Um but yeah, that's why I said earlier I'm kind of glad Tilly, like, not I'm glad a main character is stepping back and at least maybe not being such a prominent character, just because it gives others a chance to step into the limelight. Do I want Tilly to be gone? No, I really don't. I want her back, but maybe giving her a couple episodes off to do whatever she's doing is actually going to be good for the other characters on the show, because there's a lot of characters back. I mean, look at Voyager and DS9. You had what, like, six, maybe seven main characters, and then like three or four sub characters on a normal basis. Like, and yeah,
Yeah,
early this season has been very Tilly heavy. You are correct. Why do I agree with you?
yeah, I agree. I agree too. So until he's been a prominent character outside of Michael Burnham, maybe Saru and Tilly have been the two main characters, and Stamets as well.
Honestly,
Those three.
I feel like Stamets has taken a back seat in the last two
Yeah,
seasons.
yeah, I agree. No, but he had last week's episode. Him and Booker T. They yeah, they kind of they were kind of being bros. You know,
Was
they
that
were like
last
the new
episode, or
Harlem.
was that two
They were
episodes ago?
that was last week. Harlem Heat. It was good. The new Harlem Heat. So but yes, yeah, I agree. She can get back for one up. No bad thing, yeah, and everybody wants that. Because do you want to make this an overall arcing show, or do you want to make it like a Burnham show, or do you want to do it both? Because then it's a bit too much. So there's so many characters in this show, and I want more out of them. And I don't think Michael Burnham has been so dominant this season, in my opinion. What about you?
No, I
Four
don't think.
episodes.
No, I think it's a lot better this season than it's been in the past couple seasons, even last season. I mean, like the balance, the character balance is getting better like every season. Like, first two seasons was very Burnham heavy. Last season was a bit more of a balance, but still very Burnham heavy. This season is definitely, there's obviously still Burnham. She's the captain. Obviously, there's stuff going on, but at the same time, like, they are definitely giving shine to a lot of other characters. So
I agree. I totally even Book has had a lot of prominence as well.
hmm
So Adira to a degree and the Grey thing. So that I'm glad it got resolved as well because it kind of once Colbert realized Grey did exist and wasn't a figment of Adira's imagination, he worked tooth and nail to get Clay into a body. Um, it's just as she's the captain, you expect her to fix everything each episode.
And that is the issue that I have, though, is it still happens. Like Burnham, everything is possible through Michael Burnham is still happening. Like, as I said, like, I rolled my eyes when Burnham's standing there and she's like, how about I be the bridge between the Federation and Navarre? I can be, I am a citizen of Navarre or Vulcan, as well as a member of Starfleet and the Federation. I can be that bridge. And it's just like, okay, come on, Burnham. Like, for reals, I was waiting for her. I was waiting for the Vulcan president to be like, actually, we want Saru. She's like, I want to bang Saru. I want him in here. So that's what I wanted. I wanted them to pull the rug right out from under Burnham, and then Saru. Because I think, honestly, I don't think Saru needs to be a captain right now. I think he needs to be more like a diplomat, like between his world and the Federation and all that. Like, and I mean, I really feel like he could be like a Starfleet representative from the diplomatic corps, on the ship, instead of being like.
I don't want Suru not to be a captain though. Like he
I mean,
needs
he
to
can
keep
still
his
be a
stripes.
captain, but he would be a representative of the diplomatic corps.
I guess. But anyway, this was today's episode. I'm going to give it. It's hard to say. Like I don't hate this episode. Far from it. But I don't love it either. You know. I'll give it 6 out of 10.
Really, that low? I was gonna give
Mm.
it an 8. Even with the Michael Burnham shenanigans, like I still was gonna give it an 8 because I liked everything in this. I liked the Tilly stuff. I liked the cadets. I even liked the negotiations and stuff like that. You know, I really enjoyed a lot of this episode. It's just I had that eye rolling moment when Burnham's like, "Let me be the bridge between you." It's like, oh God, like kill me now, please.
At the same time, like it kind of made sense. So I don't hold that
And that's
against her. But at the same time, I also knew that you would have an issue with it, and you did.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like, I get why it makes sense to be her.
it, I just don't like the fact that it was so convenient. That's my problem with it. The convenience of it.
Well, but also
You
you
know?
can look at it as the Admiral Vance and the president made it convenient for them. It's not that she just happened to be there. They wanted Vance and the president wanted her there. So I feel like it's actually more of a convenient, like not a plot convenience. It's actually a character, like a character convenience. So
To be fair, the episodes this season I have. Okay. So it's just me then. It's just me. Well, okay. Look. I just gonna wrap this up now, boys and girls. But I just want to say that tomorrow is Wrestling Friday.
and there's a
Uh,
change up. There's a little bit of a change up in the lineup.
explain it to them,
Oh,
Babato.
okay. So with the recent news of Jeff Hardy being released from the WWE, as well as this is from just what I understand. Oh, Rose Jacobs, yay! We got more spam tech. Anyway,
Hmm.
um, so with the recent release of Jeff Hardy, him of course being in trouble for drugs again. Apparently, Vince offered him rehab. He said no. That's just speculation. I haven't heard officially, but still, that it doesn't surprise me. Um, and apparently, he was looking really rough at it was at a house show. I think it was. They were doing a house show, and
Yeah,
they
he
sent him
left. I
home.
saw the I saw the clip of it. They're doing a house show. He was him and Drew McIntyre in a tag match against two other guys. And when he done the hot tag to Drew McIntyre, he rolled out the ring and just walked off. While Drew McIntyre was like throwing bombs and shit to the other two guys. He just
Wow.
walked off.
So we decided originally what we were going to do tomorrow is we were going to do a show about mid Carters and talk about mid Carters that never grabbed that brass ring. I
Or
think we're
never
shift
gave the chance to grab the brass
or yeah,
ring.
given the chance to
Yeah.
grab the brass ring. I think we're going to shift that to the following week, and I think that the wrestle heads are going to have a discussion about like just people
Drug
wrestler,
addicts.
huh?
Junkies and juggies. Like Wrestlers, they come in three categories when it comes to drugs. They do it for enhancement, they do it for recreational, or they do it for both. You know, Jeff Hardy was definitely a recreational user. He never did performance enhancing drugs. The guy loved fucking getting high as a fucking kite. Or then other people like back in the day, Ultimate Warrior, he had fucking so many steroids he could have sold his blood on the fucking black market. You know, so there's and people like Hawk, he did both. Hawk from Legion of Doom, he was known to get drunk and do all types of drugs. And back in the 80s, a lot of these wrestlers did. And today's wrestlers, they're a bit more performance enhancing. But you still had the odd one or two who did recreationally, like Jeff Hardy, like RVD. RVD loved to smoke weed. Everyone made jokes about him.
Yeah. So,
Um,
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift the the mid Carter mediocrity episode to next week, and then this week we're gonna be talking about would you call it, the Hall of Junkies?
that was just a silly nickname, but if you want to call it that, you can. But
Yeah, I don't know. But I think we're gonna have a discussion about wrestlers that just, yeah, they use a little bit too, you can't just use all those drugs and then go to work. You know what I mean? Like recreational, whatever, do whatever in your own time, that's fine. But you can't do it and go to freaking work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so
Jeff Hardy in TNA was a when he was fighting Sting. That was a memorable one because he was high as fuck as well. But unfortunately for Hardy, at 44, I don't think he's ever gonna learn.
oh no,
And I
he's
think
fine.
and his best years are behind him now. He's not the he's not the superstar he once was, and he's been a face in his entire fucking career.
Yeah.
His
So let's save
entire
that all
fucking
for tomorrow, though.
yeah yeah
Also,
fair
don't
enough.
forget, I'm going to be bringing out my Young Justice review later on. I got to watch it, and then I'm going to bring out my Young Justice review.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, Zam,
This old
or I'm
man
sorry,
is really tired.
Xanta, take us home.
Okay, well, I just like you guys to know that this is NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. So please like, share, comment, subscribe to us. And I just want to say to you all, hi, bear.